Coming up tonight on the news at 5, Governor Bullock announces more nurses are headed to the state to assist with hospital staff shortages in rural parts of Montana. Plus, Cascade County is gearing up for more restrictions, and we're already seeing some fallout from local businesses.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news at 5. I'm Jessica Nelson. Thank you for joining us. Governor Steve Bullock says another employee in his office has tested positive for COVID-19. He made the announcement while speaking to reporters today. This was the second staff member to test positive. 4 others are close contacts and are being quarantined. Bullock said he and Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney were not close contacts and tested negative yesterday as well as today. Bullock also introduced us to a married couple from Butte who both contracted COVID-19 and were admitted to the hospital with severe symptoms. They recovered after getting antiviral treatments. They're calling on Montanans to take the virus seriously.
This virus does not care who you are. Doesn't care what color you are, doesn't care, if you're clean, dirty, or whatever. If you're gonna get sick, it's gonna get you. Now, I'm a firm believer in wearing the masks because I just don't want to see anybody else go through what we had to deal with.
Bullock also provided an update on nursing teams from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services who are coming next week to assist rural hospitals that are facing staff shortages. Each team has 5 nurses and will spend 30 days in the state. 1 will travel to the Highline and 2 will work in eastern Montana. 2 more will arrive later. The state reported 891 new COVID-19 cases today, pushing the total to more than 31,000 cases. Just under 9,000 of those are active. 8 more deaths have been reported since last night, bringing the statewide total to 360 Montanans who have died due to COVID-19 complications. 373 people are currently hospitalized with the virus. Now, it's also important to keep in mind that MTN numbers do vary from those reported by state officials because we track data from the state and local health departments to give you the most up-to-date information available. After a contentious Board of Public Health meeting last night, Cascade County is gearing up for even more restrictions, and we're already seeing some fallout from Great Falls businesses. For the next week, a few downtown restaurants and bar in the block will be takeout only. The owner says he has several employees quarantined. Before restrictions go into effect November 1st, serving takeout will give him some time to get ready. He's one of many business owners making changes after the board's decision. He says he's doing everything he can to stay open safely, but he and other small business owners are going to need your help to do that.
There's been a lot of small businesses that have adapted. That only goes so far. We need the community to help support us, help support those small businesses. In town, there's a lot of people doing a lot of great things. Clark and Louie's, Tracy's, Mighty Mo Brew Company, Fire Pizza, Double Barrel Cafe. I mean, just to mention a few that we've chatted with that, they're in that kind of cusp of it's dangerous for them.
Again, those restrictions will stay in place until the virus spread rate drops. All right, time now for a check of our forecast with Curtis, who is back with us. How's it going?
Well, it was a pretty windy day, but it was a pretty day, and get those cameras ready because once that sun goes down, we're likely to be blessed with another beautiful sunset here. I know the last couple of nights has been spectacular, and a lot of people snapping some of those pictures, but some great conditions, some great color developing here in about another hour or so. So once again, get those cameras ready, or at least go sit outside and enjoy it here a little later on. Wind an issue east of the divide, lake wind advisory, high wind warning, a lack of wind an issue west of the divide. And boy, that wind is going to howl tomorrow. Don't get blown away on Friday. I sound like a broken record talking about broken records, but this time it's a little different than a few days ago and last weekend. And I'll let you know when some warm temperatures will turn back to wintry coming up.
Election day is getting closer, and we're following some more controversy about voting on the Blackfeet Reservation. The Blackfeet Tribal Business Council released a statement yesterday saying the Glacier County Election Administrator was denying placement of ballot drop boxes on the reservation. Now, that's important because if you live on the reservation, you do not have access to the Postal Service. That means you can't mail in your ballot. You have to drop it off somewhere. When we called Glacier County election officials today, they were in the middle of setting up those boxes, one in East Glacier and another in Stick Game Arbor in Browning. They said they were waiting for permission from the tribe, but until now, they hadn't planned on setting up the boxes until Election Day.
We had talked about that we would maybe for sure do Election Day, but it kind of just was the hustle and bustle of the elections and not enough time to communicate with each other. But ultimately, we just got the letter on Monday, and now here we are. There are people out there as we speak.
Those new ballot drop boxes will be staffed full-time until Election Day. A young woman from Great Falls now living in Washington, D.C. may soon become a household name. MTN's Coulter Anstadt tells us how Keely Summer is giving her hometown a voice.
Keely Summer has been practicing to be a musician since she was 13 years old. On Friday, the CMR High School and MSU alum will release her first song.
The song is called Sleeping Alone. It was a quarantine collaboration. I met my collaborator, Jonathan Rock Adamus, online, and he is based out of Los Angeles. And so the entire song was crafted out of demos just being emailed back and forth to each other.
I look too good to be alone.
She is proud to be able to put Great Falls and the state of Montana in the spotlight.
It's really important to me to represent the Mountain West. I always brag about being from Montana because I love being rooted in a place that has such beautiful landscapes.
Her message?
Anything you're passionate about, don't allow yourself to be discouraged from following it. Being involved in arts programs and music, especially for me, was instrumental in my growth as a person. And even if it weren't what I were trying to do full time, it's still just an incredible supplementary thing to be involved in.
As for the song, she says it's a mix of her country and folk roots and electronic and pop.
Should've gone out with my friends.
Well, hopefully people from both Montana and larger cities can connect to that.
I look too good to be alone.
In Great Falls, Coulter Anstadt, MTN News.
Sleeping Alone will be available on all music streaming platforms. She hopes to be able to release more music next year. Well, a food drive to help the Great Falls Food Bank is off to a very good start. Great Falls Community Food Bank members have been at Sam's Club in Great Falls all afternoon taking donations. They will be there until 6 o'clock tonight, so you still have some time to head over there. Some people donated one item, others donated an entire cart full of food. As we have reported, the food bank typically sees a 20% increase in the demand of food during the winter months.
We have seen so many people be so generous, giving us either cash or donations such as soups and peanut butter, even cookies and things like that.
The food drive continues tomorrow from 10 to 5. All right, when we come back, Curtis has more weather updates for us in the full forecast, plus a sneak peek into what we can expect this weekend. And later, if you plan on flying sometime soon, the airport may COVID test you first. Stay with us.
Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenens.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Some nice color developing here very shortly with the sun going down. 56 degrees in Great Falls. Wind not that bad. It gets worse tomorrow, though. And in Helena, temperatures in the 40s. The wind is calm. And we've kind of got an inversion going on in the Helena Valley. Also out there around the Bitterroot Valley, Missoula stuck at 44 degrees. The rest of the state much warmer, mostly in the 50s and even the 60s still. Great Falls topped out into the lower 60s this afternoon. Calm conditions in the valleys, and that's why we're kind of seeing minor inversions here. But the wind will really pick up overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. One of those kind of windy days off of the Rocky Mountain front out across north central Montana. Great Falls is windy, Lewistown windy. It will take a while in Helena. Calm conditions tomorrow morning, but by the afternoon when the front goes through, the wind will really increase in the Helena area as well. The great news is, as we get into Saturday, the wind begins to die down from west to east here. Still a little windy eastern Montana, but high wind warning continues through tonight, tomorrow, all the way until midnight tomorrow night, and not the best idea if you're traveling up Highway 89 or Interstate 15 to pull a trailer tomorrow, because that wind will be coming right in from the west and just off towards the west. An air stagnation advisory, but that air quality likely will improve heading through tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, as the front kind of scours out some of that nasty air. Not much precipitation near Montana, or nothing really expected until maybe tomorrow evening. And what was Hurricane Zeta that made landfall near Louisiana is moving up into the northeast right now. So precipitation, not much again until tomorrow. Tonight should be a very pretty night with clouds clearing out, and it's almost a full moon. Of course, the full moon happens on Halloween this year, but tomorrow evening with the front going through, we may get a couple of showers around Helena, especially in the hills around town, but elsewhere, not much going on. We've got a while until we see any significant precipitation. Heading into Saturday, it's looking fantastic with mostly sunny skies, and again, a little breezy in the eastern part of the state here, but a ridge of high pressure will be building as we get into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and that will allow the possibility of record highs. Yeah, we just had record lows, all sorts of record lows and record snow. Record highs likely coming in on Monday, maybe even into Tuesday. Here's the forecast for tonight. A nice starry night, moonlit night. Temperatures getting down into the 20s and the 30s, close to average here for this time of year. A little refreezing maybe with temperatures getting above the freezing point around Helena today. And for tomorrow, it's a very windy day. It's another warm day, 50s and 60s for high temperatures here. So enjoy the warmth, and we'll have mostly sunny skies until that front comes down into the Helena area. Maybe a few showers going over to a few flakes of snow up on the Continental Divide. Here's the 7-day forecast. So a few scattered showers late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Halloween looks very nice. Don't forget, we fall back already Saturday night, and how about that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 50s and 60s before a couple of rain showers come through on Thursday. And for Great Falls, 64, very windy tomorrow, cooler for Halloween, not that windy. How about near record highs for Monday and Tuesday? And it does look like next weekend, the first full weekend in November, winter returns.
Some airlines are now offering COVID testing before certain flights. Take a look.
The fight against COVID-19 is taking off in a new direction, headed for the friendly skies.
We wanted to be able to instill confidence in the traveling public that in fact it is safe to travel.
Tucked away in a corner of the main terminal at Tampa International Airport sits this coronavirus testing center. This month, Tampa's airport became the first in the country to offer 2 types of COVID-19 tests to the flying public. The tests are administered by medical personnel from Baycare Health System.
There's a lot of people who are asymptomatic carriers, and you don't want to inadvertently go and expose a loved one or a family member.
While the tests are required for traveling to certain international destinations, it can also help people who are traveling here within the U.S. by helping them to avoid a 14-day quarantine if they test negative for the virus.
Me and 3 other girlfriends are going on a girls' trip.
Anissa Rashad is heading to Puerto Rico and needed a COVID test to do so.
It's required in order for you to enter into San Juan within 72 hours prior to your travel day. So, and I've been tested several times just to make sure.
The 2 tests offered include the $57 rapid coronavirus antigen test with results in 15 minutes. And the more accurate $125 PCR test, which uses a nasal swab with results within 2 days. Both tests are covered by most insurance.
Heaven forbid, if someone does test positive, we tell them to go home and quarantine. We tell them what the results are. We then are obligated by law to notify the Department of Health for Hillsborough County, which is the county that we're in.
Earlier this year, passenger numbers cratered at airports across the country, down more than 90% here in Tampa alone.
This is the worst impact that we've seen to travel.
But now the number of people flying is starting to tick pick back up heading into the holiday season. The testing center open at a time when it could become vital.
We hope that other airports replicate this.
In the hopes of ensuring that people remain the only thing airborne at 36,000 feet. In Tampa, Florida, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
Could where you live determine how much misinformation you're being given during this election? We take a deeper look.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 5.
Welcome back. We are being bombarded with mixed messages about candidates this election, and it turns out where you live makes you more likely to be hit with information and stories that might not be true. So why is this happening? Take a look.
Urgent warning. Hospitals are running out of ICU beds.
Anxiety just gripping the market today.
There is so much noise right now, so much information to decipher. It won't stop.
Police shot and killed a black man.
And all of it at a time when a record number of Americans are heading to the polls early. The stakes could not be higher.
In order for us to figure out who is the right person or persons to represent your concerns and needs, you need to know what they stand for.
That is Bhaskar Chakravarty, Dean of the Global Business School at Tufts University. He and his team have spent months looking into why so much misinformation is spreading this election cycle.
We are in extremely dangerous territory now than we were 2 years ago.
It turns out where you live makes you more susceptible to being hit with misinformation, to being targeted by fake Facebook and Twitter accounts, to fake headlines.
It's pretty easy. You just kind of drop in a few headlines here and there, set up a few fake websites, and off you go. This thing takes off like wildfire.
States that ranked highest for becoming vulnerable to misinformation: Montana, West Virginia, Arkansas, Alabama, South Carolina, Kentucky, South Dakota, and Florida. Most have either hotly contested presidential or Senate races on November 3rd. On the other side, Georgia, Illinois, New Jersey, Minnesota, Maryland, Virginia, Connecticut, and Massachusetts were least likely to become vulnerable to misinformation. Age, education level, the media people consume all play into the rankings.
The misinformation or disinformation is asymmetric in its power. It travels further and faster than truth and facts.
Most troublesome right now, the amount of misinformation spreading about voting. From fake stories claiming people can vote after November 3rd, they can't, to false information about mail-in ballot deadlines.
It can create just more uncertainty at a time when there's already a decrease in the institutional trust and authority that many people feel with their government.
Jesse Littlewood is with the nonprofit Common Cause. He says the best way to combat misinformation is to do it on the local level. People are more likely to trust information that comes directly from their city or state officials, especially about voting.
It's a real challenge for voters to stay abreast of all of that changing information.
Then the process of democracy is undermined because we're making choices based on either incomplete information or just wrong information. And that is not a good thing.
Just more uncertainty to cut through in an incredibly noisy election. I'm Chris Conti.
These experts are also quick to point out that misinformation will not disappear after November 3rd. The concern after the election is that bad actors will push falsehoods before election results are final. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
When we welcome our West Coast viewers, shades of last spring, new PPE shortages, a dependence on Ford-made supplies as the country faces new COVID surges. Also, how the pandemic is changing Halloween. Some important information for you and your family when we see you here on NBC Nightly News.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Coke and Amazon teamed up to create a contactless experience. Coke's Freestyle machine uses a touchscreen and features more than 200 drink options. All you have to do is scan a QR code on the machine, which brings the touchscreen interface to your phone. You press pour until your cup is filled. Pretty nifty idea. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.